What up, what up? Y'all better be staying tuned to quit, bro. Whatever it is you doing. And today, we're gonna be just checking out some videos, man. Cause we live in 2025. Alright, here we go. By the way, during this time I'm making this video, they're planning on banning TikTok, y'all. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see if it's actually gonna happen. But I guess there should be a video here. Yeah, here we go. Try it out. Let's see what it is.
The video app TikTok is facing a US ban from next week, potentially leaving its 170 million American users high and dry. Now, the US government says the ban is necessary to protect national security. TikTok is owned by Chinese company ByteDance, and US lawmakers have argued that China is using the app to spread misinformation and access American users' data. But many TikTok users, well, they don't agree. And rather than conceding to their government's demands, they're rebelling.
Oh my God, what have y'all done? They're gonna be so mad. Imagine tomorrow morning, Mark Zuckerberg and all of Congress is gonna wake up and they're gonna be like, oh shit, an actual Chinese app is the second most downloaded app right now in the App Store. They didn't just cancel their TikTok accounts and flood over to Meta and they literally went and voluntarily gave their information. Congress has been arguing about this shit and Chinese ownership of TikTok. And y'all just went straight to an actual fully owned Chinese app.
Now, what that user was pointing to there was the Chinese app Red Note. I won't say the Mandarin. Unlike TikTok, a Red Note is designed for use in China specifically and has over 300 million users across the Mandarin-speaking world. And the number of Americans downloading it is only growing. It's going stratospheric. It's currently the top download on Apple's US App Store. Coming in second is Lemon 8, a video app popular in China and connected to, you guessed it, TikTok's parent company. Those leaving TikTok for the Red Note are calling themselves TikTok refugees, and they appear to be receiving a warm welcome on the new app.
Introducing you guys to this platform. So tip number one, we mainly use this platform for searching for suggestions, such as for restaurants, such as for shopping malls, even for makeup tips. And secondly, this platform is mainly Chinese speaking, but do feel free to speak English and post English content because I believe there are a lot more English speaking people on this platform nowadays. And we need to build this community. And there are a lot of celebrities trying to register for the account here. So what matters more is we build a community starting from now. And thirdly, I want to say never stop sharing your voice because a platform such as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, YouTube, Xiaohongshu should never be banned. People sharing their actual voice there, about wildfire in LA, about Gaza, and a lot of other things, right? These are real people's voice. What matters more is that we never stop making content. So yeah, welcome to Xiaohongshu. Let me know what your thoughts, let me know what you're interested in. I speak both Chinese and English, so feel free to ask me any questions.
Now, that Red Note user referred to Gaza, hinting at what many TikTok users believe is the real reason behind the US government's attempt to ban the app. Earlier this week, The Intercept published a report on how Republicans have sometimes openly admitted that the ban is also about hiding pro-Palestinian content, with conservatives accusing TikTok of algorithmic bias against Israel. In May, former Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney wrote this: "Some wonder why there was such overwhelming support for us to shut down potentially TikTok or other entities of that nature. If you look at the postings on TikTok and the number of mentions of Palestinians relative to other social media sites, it's overwhelmingly so among TikTok broadcasts." Another Republican congressman, Mike Gallagher, wrote this: "How do we reach a point where a majority of young Americans hold such a morally bankrupt view of the world, where many young Americans were rooting for terrorists who had kidnapped American citizens and against a key American ally? Where were they getting the raw news to inform this upside-down worldview? The short answer is, increasingly, via social media, and predominantly TikTok." The giveaway in that quote is the question, where are they getting the raw news to inform this upside-down worldview? Well, you've answered yourself there, Congressman. He seems to prefer that young people only get carefully curated news, preferably from legacy media. And to some extent...
Hold up. I don't know if it's just me, but it might just be the messenger. I don't know. Let's check this one out.
I'm not gonna lie, Deshae Frost is pretty nasty for what he's been doing recently, and I'm really surprised no one's really been talking about it. So Deshae's been in a decent amount of drama already lately, but this one comes from a video that YouTuber Cameron made about Deshae. This is a video called Deshae Frost Has a Huge Problem, and it's a picture of him on the thumbnail with some black bars on his eyes and the text saying, "He's too freaky." And this is a video that argues and details essentially why Deshae Frost is too freaky in his content. This is a dude that, at least what the video was trying to say, this is a dude that will do anything for views. This is a guy that does a lot of freaky shit on camera, way too freaky shit on camera, despite having a young fan base.
Deshae Freaky Frost will do anything for clout, and it's been apparent in his content creation career.
So as with a lot of these videos, especially if the videos get a lot of traction, which a lot of Cameron's videos do, the streamer gets a hold of it and reacts to it on stream. And with the claims that Cameron was making, it's not surprising to me that Deshae didn't take light of it.
We report that video. Report. This is harassment and bullying. This is harassing me. Dead ass. I don't. That shit harassing me.
That's crazy. He's harassing me and I'm scared for my life. Like, what are we doing, Deshae? And as Cameron detailed in a 7-minute video that he uploaded on YouTube, this essentially caused his video to get stricken down from his channel, specifically under YouTube's sex and nudity policy.
So you can't just send your audience to mass report a video because you didn't like the content.
Alright. Just to fill you guys in, this is about some YouTube drama between some freaky creator and some guy that reacted and reported about his freaky activities. Here we go.
Contents within that video. That isn't correct. And that's a terrible look for the company of YouTube because you have one of your bigger creators who's amassed millions of subscribers orchestrating this hate raid live to thousands of people. That's not a good look. The next day, he then uploads the video to his YouTube channel, then he privates it a few days after. And the video is still private till this day. Here's a video of me going into my iMessage convo with my brother where I sent him the link because he wanted to watch it. And when I click the link, you can see that the video is now private. Note, in that video, he had the part where him and his audience mass reported me. It was at the end. Days later, my video was doing well. It was still up on my channel. There were no real issues. The video was on its way to about 500,000 views. Tons of people reacted. And then randomly, it gets striked down for YouTube's nudity and sex policy.
He then gets a warning strike for his channel, which essentially, for those who don't know, is just a warning that this is a strikeable offense, but you won't actually get a strike for it. Now, the reasoning that YouTube gave to Cameron as to why his video got age restricted and then eventually got stricken down was because of a clip that he used of Deshae eating someone's ass. I don't know how else to describe that. He was pretending to bite someone. Yeah, I can't even show the video because I don't want to get stricken down, but he didn't actually eat ass. It was just like a little bite, you know what I'm saying? This is crazy. So then the day after he gets the warning, he then uploads the video with much more blur because he already knows this part of the video, you know, there was a problem with it. I'm gonna blur the shit out of it so it doesn't become a problem. So things were going cool after hours uploading the video, but then it just gets randomly age restricted, in which Cameron then appeals that said age restriction, and then that turned into a strike for a very similar reason.
So I see that it gets age restricted, and I try to appeal. And during my appeal, the video gets taken down for YouTube's sex and nudity policy once again. Note, this is the safer version. This version has so much blurred out. I'm gonna link it in the comment section. I didn't even get an answer on the age restriction. They just took the re-upload down fully. But here's the tricky part. They claim that the part I got taken down for was at the mark 1331, where it was a blurred clip of Deshae Frost on a roller coaster with a woman touching on her breast. But you know where I got this clip from? A video from Deshae Frost uploaded called 24 Hours in NYC. That is on his YouTube channel till this day. It's been up for about a year now. In his video, he didn't blur out this part or anything. He just uploaded it raw, and it's still up till this day.
So a couple things here. One, I think Deshae is very, very nasty for over-exaggerating the situation to the point where he mass reported a channel to hopefully take that channel down. From creator to creator, I think, and I've seen this happen multiple times throughout my YouTube career, I think it is very, very nasty when creators try to strike down another creator's video, try to strike down another creator's channel, simply because they made a video that didn't necessarily put them in the best light. Especially if the video came with a lot of evidence to put them in said light, which this video did. Especially for people who do this full time, you know how damaging a strike can be to a channel. You know how damaging multiple strikes can be to a channel. You know that YouTube is not a perfect system, and for you to purposely abuse that system, purposely abuse the flaws of that system to take another creator down just because they said something you don't like, I think is fucking nasty. That's nasty. And I'll even give Deshae bail in this instance because what I've seen in a lot of different other scenarios is they try to copyright strike down a channel. Mind you, these same people wouldn't copyright strike another channel who made a favorable video to them, but just because another channel made a non-favorable video about them, now they're striking down the channel for copyright reasons. Like that's scummy. And it's even more scummy when the creator doing the striking specifically does reaction videos themselves and specifically, you know, uses copyright content themselves. That's when it becomes really scummy. So at the very least, Deshae didn't do that. But I'm not gonna lie, especially since it's recorded, what Deshae did in mass reporting Cam's channel is against YouTube's policies. Now, maybe I'm misinterpreting the rules, but I think it's important to know here before I dive into the exact policy that YouTube has banned creators for stuff that they've done off platform before.
I have no
they
idea
banned the likes of
what the
Andrew
rules
Tate
are
before
on
because
there.
of things that they did off the platform, not necessarily things that they did on YouTube. And in this instance, the mass reporting that Deshae did was actually recorded. It was actually live. But under YouTube's very own guidelines of harassment and cyberbullying, which is what, ironically, Deshae reported the video for, it says we don't allow content that targets someone with prolonged insults or slurs based on their physical traits or protected group status like age, disability, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or race. We also don't allow other harmful behaviors like threats or doxing. Keep in mind that we take a stricter approach on content that targets minors. It literally says right here, as examples to this, rating or directing malicious abuse to identifiable individuals through in-game voice chat or messages during the stream, or directing users to leave abusive comments in another creator's comment section. The only argument against what I'm saying right now is that he didn't do it on YouTube. Like, he did it on Twitch, he did it off platform. Therefore, he shouldn't get penalized for it. But then I say again, YouTube has penalized other creators for stuff that they did off platform. Matter of fact, it literally says on YouTube's community guidelines homepage at the very bottom here, highlighted, if a YouTube creator's on and or off platform behavior harms our users, community, employees, or ecosystem, we may respond based on a number of factors, including but not limited to the egregiousness of their actions and whether a pattern of harmful behavior exists. So I don't want to hear that, oh, it didn't happen on YouTube bullshit. It literally says right here, that if you do stuff off platform, it still counts. But also in another part of YouTube's policy under the harmful and dangerous content policy part, it says right here under the educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic content section that sometimes content that would otherwise violate this policy is allowed to stay on YouTube when it has educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic context. An example that they use is a documentary that shows the impact of drug use in a particular community that, while showing viewers drug usage, discourages viewers from using drugs and doesn't provide information on how to make or purchase them. Now, for you dumb fucks in the comment section, yes, I understand that the video Cameron made or the things that the Shay did were not about drugs whatsoever. I get that. But all the footage and everything that Cameron talked about in the video was to discourage viewers from doing shit for the content, for sexualizing their mother allegedly for the sake of views, and that is an educational thing. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems like that right there falls under this. And I've been kind of hinting at it throughout this whole video. I think the bigger problem in this isn't necessarily the Shay at this point, it's YouTube's enforcement of their policy. Because what they're showing right now is a level of inconsistency that I'm gonna just keep it a stack is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And the reason why, and shout out to Cameron for pointing this out in the video, Cameron did not just get this footage out of thin air. All of the footage that Cameron got stricken down for was on Deshay's YouTube channel. It's been existing on the platform this whole fucking time.
Majority of the clips in this video were found on Deshae Frost Vlog YouTube channel and his live YouTube channel. And the reasoning they gave me is because of the clip at 15:39, which was a clip of Deshae Frost biting the girl's butt once again, but the clip was blurred out. And Deshae even has this clip on his channel, and the clip is also blurred out.
It's less censored. It shows more of the disgusting things that YouTube apparently wants to strike down in Cameron's video, but Cameron's the one getting penalized for it, even though these are things that have existed on channels with millions of subscribers. Like, this is insane. I think at this point, all Cameron is asking for is just to be fair. If you're gonna strike down his videos for sexual content that violates the policy of YouTube's guidelines, then also strike down the video where it actually came from that's still public on your platform. And this has been the case for years now, because I want to remind and recall to y'all when Corey Kenshin called out YouTube for their unfair and inconsistent enforcement of their policies.
YouTube, you guys either play favorites, you are
Hold
racist,
up. I don't know if they're gonna mess with my videos because these guys are doing that with it. Let's see. Pissed off. Well, Panda was savage. Take that. Let's see. I guess thumbnails too matter, huh? More. Okay, let's see what this guy says. Dang it, it's gonna be long. Let's see what this guy says.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Oh, it's been such an optics disaster for Democrats. I mean, I'm really thinking this could be the week that actually starts shifting the political pendulum in the state. It's just such a bad look, and it's obvious that it's a bad look, just based on how Democrat leadership in the state is reacting. They are so friggin' defensive, trying every rhetorical tactic in the books, and it's just all backfiring. We got Gavin Newsom and other Democrats totally webbed up in community notes all over the X platform. It's just something else, but what it feels like is the collapse of this guy's legitimacy as a leader. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Okay, so we've already covered the Gavin Newsom getting fact-checked on his whole misinformation nonsense, and obviously that hasn't gone so well for little Gavin Newsom, but that's not the end of Gavin Newsom's problems here. No, even as he's doing his photo ops and his little on-the-ground press moments, trying to look for those crisis moment brownie points, yeah, well, even that stuff's backfiring on him.
Have to keep people safe, no looting, zero tolerance for looting. That's why these guys are out here, and I'm very grateful for them, particularly for these critical checkpoints that allow law enforcement to move more mobily and do the interior work.
Gavin Newsom trying to play the strong leader on how looting will not be accepted in the state. And holy moly, does that little statement backfire. California will not allow looting. Yeah, please, give me a break. This is the state where criminals walk into stores, load up on stolen goods, and walk right back out with zero consequences. You know, essentially what we've been seeing all across California, especially over the last 4 years. Yeah, I don't think people are taking Gavin Newsom's anti-looting promises so seriously. And what's funny is all of this is happening on the backdrop of more Walgreens shutting down in San Francisco.
Walgreens announced it would be closing 12 stores in San Francisco in the final week of February, with a statement reading in part, quote, increased regulatory and reimbursement pressures are weighing on our ability to cover the costs associated with rent, staffing, and supply needs. It is never an easy decision to close a store. Off camera, workers say the pharmacy and retail chain is telling them the pharmacy side of the business is underperforming. Customers also point to rampant theft at some locations. We captured this video of a man walking out of the Geary Walgreens with a suitcase full of beer and food that workers inside were saying he hadn't paid for.
That just happened, by the way. That's not the Walgreens shutdown story from 2 years ago. No, it continues to happen. Retail stores shutting down across California because of one problem: looting. And here's California Governor Gavin Newsom trying to act like the strongman leader, sending a clear message to the people that looting will not be tolerated. You know, I guess he's trying to do the same thing that we see from DeSantis in Florida.
Just know anybody out there that thinks they're going to take advantage of this situation, you got another thing coming to you. We are not going to tolerate any looting, any types of criminal activity on the backs of people that suffer damage on these storms. Obviously, we wouldn't accept it anyways, but we actually have even stronger enhanced penalties when people try to do this stuff on the heels of a major storm like this.
Except there's only one problem. One leader has credibility and the other is a complete hypocrite clown. And that one statement from Gavin Newsom is called a whole Twitter firestorm. Holy moly, is this guy getting clowned on? Of course, let's jump straight to the community note. Gavin Newsom writes on X, "Stop encouraging looting by lying and telling people it's decriminalized. It's not, it's illegal, as it always has been. Bad actors will be arrested and prosecuted." Womp womp womp. Readers added context to this community note. California reduced the penalties for all theft crimes, including loot, to a misdemeanor if under $950 with Prop 47 in 2013 that Gavin Newsom supported. In 2024, voters repealed much of that with Prop 36, which, by the way, Gavin Newsom campaigned against. This guy's been totally exposed. I mean, totally and utterly exposed. And I think we've just reached a point where so many Democrats have just reached a point where their credibility has been ruined to such an extent that at some point it's all bound to backfire, and Gavin Newsom is the prime example of this happening. He's just got no more legitimacy to his leadership. When he speaks, nobody takes him seriously. When he tries to play the serious leader, when he tries to grandstand on issues and claim that he's going to do something or he's going to take it seriously, well, nobody takes him seriously because his track record is just that awful. Oh, well, you said you're going to do this big, bold initiative? Oh, well, you've been saying the same thing for the last 20 years. Oh, you're going to tackle looting now all of a sudden? You mean the same guy who's allowed looting to run rampant in the state for the last 4 years and the same guy who voted against a law that would help curb the onslaught of crime? No matter what he says, he just has no more credibility. He's standing on nothing. And so many of these failed Democrat leaders are in the exact same position. The mayor below him, Karen Bass, is from the same community of incompetence. There's no defending these people. And trust me, you don't want to listen to the defenses of these people. Okay, well, fine. Here, listen to one of them.
And she's got a spine of steel. Yes. And she's also been a black woman in America a very long time. So none of this is new to her. We're mad because we're tired of it. We're tired for her. We're mad for her, and we're going to stand. Listen, I don't know how you're here, but I'm happy you're here. Because somebody needs to stand, behind her and support her. Because how she handling it, you can see it in her face. She stays calm. But think about this: she has the city to take care of. She does not have time to hear these reporters. And she is also not mayor of every municipality in California. Yes. There are people that are mad that she didn't fix the fires in Malibu. She's not the mayor of Malibu. You're right. What is she supposed to do in the city she's not the mayor of? People don't understand. And let me say this too: I can imagine how much it would hurt to see this happening in a city that she loves. That's first. So take away how it feels for people to attack her. She's heartbroken because this is happening in her city, a city that she loves. And the people don't understand. They don't understand how large it is because a lot of people are sitting in other parts of the city. They're not in it. They're not in the fire. They're not in the smoke. They don't see. They're not there. They're watching TV. Why? And they want to blame someone. This is not the time to blame. It's time to get some resources. She has reached out far.
I tried to warn you, but you wouldn't listen. Yeah, it's the DEI defense. Any criticism of our great left-wing Democrat leader is, I guess, either racist, or it's right-wing misinformation, or a conspiracy theory. Give me a freaking break. Their pathetic defenses are crumbling before our very eyes to the lightest of scrutiny. Their pathetic pleas of victimhood are clearly unfounded, and again, their general legitimacy to lead, well, it's just completely shot now, isn't it? I think it just might be time to resign. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Let's see. Oh, this guy.
This TikToker got 12 years of prison for filming a challenge for social media. And I mean, we've covered these guys before who film themselves cutting through traffic, doing 150 miles an hour on public roads, all for some social media attention. And sadly, this was the type of content this dude made before his arrest. So meet Noah Thomas Gale, and it's safe to say one of his social media challenges ended terribly wrong.
A Wellington man will soon be headed to prison after his reckless driving turned deadly.
Noah Gale accepted a plea agreement today for causing a traffic crash that took the lives of 6 people in 2022.
This whole story is just so depressing and avoidable. It's not like the first time we've covered a case like this, so I guess you already know the type. While it's definitely not even close to as bad, Jack Doherty is probably the most recent to appear on this channel doing something at a similar level of stupidity, where he not only put his own life at risk, but everyone else on the road, because he decided that he was going to live stream, look at chat, and drive all at the same time. Thankfully, Jack wasn't driving 150 miles an hour though, because that's a clear difference between the two. But Jack realized what he was doing was stupid because right before it happened, he even predicted it.
Literally, guys, you can't see shit. I'm most likely going to crash this car. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully not. No!
And even prior to Jack, we've also covered the case of Squeeze Benz, whose entire online content revolves around speeding through the city streets, getting the police to chase them, and then trying to outrun the cops just for the thrill of it. And, of course, for social media attention. But even though these cases could have always been considered a straight path to Darwinism, the behavior is extremely selfish by them, as they put random families that unfortunately have to share the road with them at risk. And sadly, the worst possible case scenario happened here. So here we have Noah, a 20-year-old former Instagram and TikTok influencer who got 12 years in prison after ending the lives of 6 people in Delray Beach. But in order to fully understand this story, we need to go back 3 years in time to where the real incident actually happened. Because this absolute disaster happened in January 2022, where at the time, Noah was only 17. And this was the age he started to build a following on social media, specifically on Instagram and TikTok. Here, he started getting traction for these quiz challenge contests, which doesn't sound too bad to begin with, but then you realize realize they're just straight up Darwinism. But the premise is kind of innocent where, you know, his audience, they guess a question to his quiz, and if they answer correctly, he sends them $25 on Cash App. Now, if that was a normal quiz, there wouldn't really be too much to worry about. Just another teenager having fun on social media and interacting with his audience, until these quizzes were based on him flying down the road at an unknown speed. We don't have the footage to show the extent of menace this dude would be most of the time, but according to WESH2, one of the deputies who later worked on this case assured that one video posted to social media shows Gale driving 181 miles an hour on Interstate 95 past the Gateway Boulevard overpass. So you may be asking, what does this have to do with a quiz challenge? Well, as he was driving 150 plus miles an hour down the road, he would film himself and then have his audience guess how fast was he going. That's right. So you have a teenager barreling down a public highway at 150 miles an hour plus, one hand on the wheel, one hand on his phone, looking around, trying to get that good angle, and then asking his audience, hey, how fast do you think I'm going? That is the dumbest thing I've heard of in a long time. Anyone with 2 brain cells would know that would end horribly, which it did. It's really hard to think of a more selfish and reckless social media stunt. And what's absolutely disgusting about this is this was not some one-time stupid decision. His entire content revolved around these kinds of challenges. And this sadly led to the end of 6 innocent lives just a few weeks after he started doing this.
Noah Thomas Gall, who has turned 18 since the January 2022 accident, was behind the wheel of the BMW when the 6 women were killed leaving work, according to police.
So, again, on January 27, 2022, Noah was driving a BMW M5 down the road in Palm Beach County, recording himself posting pictures like he normally does. But if he ever challenged his audience to guess his speed, the person who would get $25 would be the one who replied 151 miles an hour. Yes, he was going 151 miles an hour on impact. And who did he hit? Well, he hit 6 farm workers who were heading home after a long shift. They were all inside of one SUV together, and they couldn't have seen it coming because the dude hit them at 150 miles an hour from behind.
Officers involved noticed a smell of alcohol coming from Noah, but investigators say they ran tests and nothing was found in his system. Data collected through the investigation from his car showed he was actually going 151 miles an hour. Investigators also discovered Instagram posts from his profile showing him driving at what they describe as extremely high rates of speed weeks before the crash happened. But today at his first appearance, his defense team said those videos, however, never show his face, so there's no way to say for sure that it was him.
And as you would expect, this is a nightmare of a scene. 3 people were actually ejected out of the car. And all while, of course, the social media influencer Noah here, he walked away from that incident virtually unharmed. Sadly, the same could not be said for the 6 other victims. 5 of the victims passed away right on the scene, and the last one passed away at the hospital. Bro, this is one of those stories that just... Like, I've read this story like 20 plus times now, and it's so bad. It's hard not to be frustrated with people like this.
The BMW struck a gray Nissan Rogue. It was occupied by 6 people, as we mentioned. 5 of them were deceased on scene, and 1 later was pronounced dead at the hospital.
6 people are gone because a teenager couldn't help himself from recklessly engagement farming on social media. Are you serious? And at first, Noah Gale was facing 90 years in prison, but Noah's father is Craig Gale, a very prominent local attorney in Florida. But Craig was actually not a part of his son's defense team. The defense attorney claimed that their client had been on psychiatric medicine since he was about 12, suggesting that this might have contributed to the accident. But they never specified what he was actually being treated for. They also talked about Noah's efforts to fundraise for the victims' families and that several significant undiagnosed medical conditions should be taken into account when it comes to his judgment. They even read a statement in court saying that not a day goes by in which Noah doesn't think about his reckless actions, and that he wishes every day that he had passed in the accident and not the victims. And while that's likely true, the whole situation is just depressing because the victims, they should have been here right now, and nobody has any business doing this kind of dumb challenges for some basic social media attention. But instead of the 90 years he was originally facing after a plea agreement between both parties, he ended up getting 12.5 years in prison. Obviously, that is still a hefty sentence, but low for ending the lives of 6 people. And then on top of that, just posting all these speed challenges continuously before the accident doesn't seem like much of the attitude of someone who was so concerned about human lives like that. The prosecutor of this case, Al Johnson, defended the plea deal, and he said it was fair and empathized that it had support from the victims' family members.
Why is this a fair resolution to this case?
We have a 17-year-old who is accepting responsibility. No amount of time will bring back the victims for their families.
Relatives of the victims did not attend today's court hearing, but Johnson says they agreed to the plea deal.
The victims all have written to us that they do not object to this. Some of them didn't even want him to go to jail at all. One wanted us to drop the case entirely.
But I mean, either way, at the end of the day, 6 families lost their loved ones. 6 women who were just trying to make it home from work never made it. 6 lives ended because someone thought social media clout was more important than basic human decency. And now, these families have to live with the knowledge of the person responsible will probably be out of prison before they turn 35. Was the social media attention really worth it for this $25 challenge? I hope not.
That's crazy. Which one is catching my vibe?
In hip-hop, being able to rap is only half the battle to becoming a legend in the industry. Alongside opportunities having to come to you at the right time, you also need to do whatever you can to keep the public on your side. A big part of that is meticulous image management, because if you start to come off as
Fire Captain Freddy Escobar.
You're not supposed to make me cry.
35-year veteran of the Los Angeles Fire Department wishes he'd been wrong.
This is a woefully understaffed fire department. The residents of Los Angeles are going to pay the ultimate sacrifice, and someone will die.
In this video today, a heartbreaking story from a fire captain in Los Angeles, in my opinion, just ended Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass's political career. And Joe Biden delivered his final speech to America, and yes, it was a disaster. These stories and more in this video. Let's start with CNN breaking this story about what the fire captain had to say. Watch this.
You know, we've heard sort of the back and forth about fire budgets involving the current mayor, but this is an issue that precedes this mayor. This is years in the making. The fire department has warned of dire consequences, saying that they need more money, they need more firefighters, and they warned of this as recently as last month. At that commission meeting, you said, it's dire, someone will die.
It's eerie listening to your words, because that's what occurred. So, let me just take a minute, sorry.
Fire Captain Freddy Escobar.
You're not supposed to make me cry.
35-year veteran of the Los Angeles Fire Department wishes he'd been wrong, and this had not happened.
Now, I want to make something abundantly clear, okay? There comes a point in this entire tragedy or disaster, rather, where there's not much these firefighters could have done, right? Number one, there wasn't as many firefighters as they would have wished. Number two, there was definitely water pressure issues. And number three, we're talking about a historic fire here, okay? When the entire town goes up in flames, yeah, and they're dealing with historic winds. I mean, there's only so much that they can do. Any firefighter would tell you. It's just a matter of a waiting game at that point and trying to say whatever they can. So I do want to make that clear, which is why the delayed reaction, the delayed response and decision-making, and the underfunding of the department just screams incompetence. And we've been talking about this until we're blue in the face at this point. But there's more. Watch this.
For years, the LAFD union president warned that a disaster like the Palisades fire could happen. And while the cataclysmic weather conditions were historic, Escobar also blamed something predictable that hurt the firefight: money.
This is a woefully understaffed fire department. We're either going to have a fire department that's going to reflect 2025, or we're going to have a fire department that's going to reflect the 1960s.
A CNN analysis shows out of the 10 biggest cities in the nation, Los Angeles ranks 9th when it comes to the number of firefighters per resident. And it shows millions of dollars in rescue equipment is just sitting in a lot, unused, because the fire department can't afford to hire the mechanics to repair it. LA's fire chief said in a recent memo, the fire department staffing levels were half the size of what they should be.
If we cut one position, if we close one station, if we close one resource, the residents of Los Angeles are going to pay the ultimate sacrifice, and someone will die.
Now, here's what I have to say about this entire story. We can give credit to CNN for running this, okay? Every single network should be repeating this story for the next 15 days, 30 days, until we see resignations from Mayor Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, okay? Now, the petition for Mayor Karen Bass is up to 150,000 signatures already, so they're well on their way to making sure that there is a recall effort against her. Secondly, it is a shame that Los Angeles is ranked 9th on that list of being underfunded, undermanned. That right there screams incompetence, not just from the mayor. It's been happening for a long time, and that's under Gavin Newsom's watch. He's been in charge since 2011. He was the lieutenant governor. Now he's the governor. Now, speaking of Gavin Newsom, here he is announcing his latest executive order preventing land developers and other investors from buying properties with pennies on the dollar. Okay, check this out.
I'm here in Altadena. I just signed an executive order with community leaders to deal with the issue that is becoming a bigger and bigger issue every day, and that's land developers that are engaging in predatory efforts to make unsolicited offers for properties at significantly below market value. This predatory behavior is disgusting in the best of times, and of course here in the midst of this tragedy at scale, it's disgraceful. So we're going to hold those folks accountable. I'm very grateful for the leadership here in the community that promoted this approach and this this executive order is a reflection of their direction and their commitment to preserving the unique character of this community for generations to come.
Now, here's the copy of this executive order, which I want to show you because I think it's actually quite hilarious. And it just shows you how sometimes the government has great intentions, but those intentions turns into restrictions, right, of a free market. And here it is, making any unsolicited offer to an owner of real property located in the following zip codes, right, which are the zip codes that have been affected by the wildfires, to purchase or otherwise acquire any interest in the real property for an amount less than the fair market value of the property or interest in the property on January 6th, meaning the value of the property before the fires kicked off. You can't sell that property for anything less than that. It's prohibited for 3 months from the date of this order. Also, the Department of Real Estate, in consultation with other agencies and departments as appropriate, shall determine the nature and scope of any unlawful, unfair, or fraudulent practices employed by any individual or entity seeking to take advantage of property owners in the wake of this emergency. So let me just get this straight. If I was someone who lost my home in the fire and I said, you know what, I'm done with California. I'm done with all this. I'd like to move on, and I'd like to move on right now. I want to sell my property. I don't want to deal with anything else. I'm done. I have to wait 3 months to do that because no one's going to buy my property at what it was worth before the fires. We all know that. And just to follow on to this, number one, what will the enforcement look like? Because let's say somebody did broker a deal and they're happy about it. Can they submit a waiver and say, hey, you know what? I understand you issued this executive order, but I'm done with you. I want to move on. It'd be interesting to see what happens with that. Because, by the way, these individuals not only are people who had mortgages, they still have to pay, but property taxes are still going to be owed. So I'm sure they're going to be people who just want to move on. Now, here is Anna Kasparian, who is a progressive. Everybody knows that, from the Young Turks, ripping into Gavin Newsom. And I think it's worth listening to. Check this out.
Gavin Newsom, in every single interview I've seen him do, has passed the buck, even though he is the governor of the state. Yeah. He is pathetic. He's a snake. He's like the slimiest Democratic politician, certainly on a local level. But what we have seen is mismanagement of epic proportions, and the mere existence, and it is real, the existence of climate change should not be utilized as a talking point in order to pass the buck, in order to deflect blame, in order to refuse to take any personal responsibility for how poorly this state has been governed for several years now. I am so disgusted with these people.
Now, the irony about everything that she was saying is this is what conservatives have been telling you and people like you, progressives and hardcore liberals, that this would happen. But you guys don't want to listen because you think we have some type of Newsom derangement syndrome when the red flags were there every single step of the way. But that's another whole thing. But she's dead on. I mean, this guy, he's been the lieutenant governor when it was 2011, and then he became the governor. He's been in power. This guy has all the experience you need to be able to respond to this tragedy in the right way, and he utterly failed. Now, let me show you an example of one of the red flags, which is the regulation and the bureaucracy and the red tape. This individual put up an accurate post. If you live in California, you would love this, okay? Can you clear that brush near my house so it doesn't burn down? No. Okay, can I do it myself? No. Okay, can I upgrade my roof? No. Okay, will you keep the reservoirs full? No. Okay, my house burned down. Can I rebuild? No. Okay, can I sell the land? No. That's exactly what it's like in California. Now, in the comment section, this user put this, which I find to be interesting. I just paid the second half of my 2024-2025 California property taxes today. I know it's just throwing my money away because I get absolutely nothing for it. I check my city's fire department budget and see $3.9 million allocated to DEI recruitment. F you stupid Democrats. Now, Elon Musk put this up today. Gavin Newsom is a scumbag. He was responding to a post by the user named Avery Warwick. She claims, and I have no way to verify this is a legitimate claim against Gavin Newsom, but we'll entertain it as speculation. Here's what she says. I interviewed a Los Angeles firefighter with 20 plus years of service. The truths I find are harrowing. Gavin Newsom ordered the removal of Elon Musk from the command post and ordered the CAL FIRE firefighters to return all donated Starlinks. The firefighters ran out of water in the Palisades. The fire department was not consulted on the draining of the Palisades reservoir. There were insufficient hydrants in the Palisades, too far apart, and the incorrect diameter for sufficient water flow. Quote, we could have saved more homes if we had more water. Now, because she did not give the firefighter's name, I'm not even going to go any further with this, but I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being true. And here is another hardcore liberal, possibly a progressive at times, Michael Rappaport, saying this about Gavin Newsom.
You don't get any more mistakes. There's no more mistakes for you. You're done. You're done. You're done. You're fired. Grease your hair back, slick it back, put on your aviator glasses, and get the out of here. We'll do better next time. We need to learn from our... We'll do better next time. We're going to learn from our mistakes. Get the out of here. Gavin with the good hair Newsom. We've been calling you Gavin with the good hair. Mr. Hand Gestures. They ask him a question. He starts going into these gestures. Well... You see,
all right. Well, we will continue to see this level of outrage increase, actually, because I don't even think it really has set in for a lot of people out there. I mean, once they finally realize they can't sell their home, They still have to pay their mortgage. They still owe property taxes. They can't even go back to their home if it wasn't even damaged, because some of these homes are in neighborhoods that are being considered as a crime scene because they are saying that these fires were started due to arson. You're going to have a lot of upset people. So, yeah, this isn't over for the outrage, and we will continue to cover it. Now, the other outrage that we want to cover is actually from Joe Biden. He gave his disastrous farewell speech tonight, pre-taped, by the way, was not live, and it was as embarrassing as you would expect. Let's start with his claim that we have now reached an age of oligarchy. Check this out.
And that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. The dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead.
Now, let's make something clear. I have three primary examples of why everything he is saying is a bunch of bull. All right. Now, I'm not saying it's false, but what I'm saying is not in the way that he would want you to believe. And my first example is big tech censorship. That happened under his watch, by the way. So when you talk about billionaires and wealthy or government overreach or abuse of power, clearly the government abused their power in forcing these social media companies to censor people off their platform. That's the first thing. Secondly, the lobbyists. Okay, we all know that these people are bought and paid for. Okay, so that's on both sides. Sure, he's right about that. And the third thing is the elite donors. George Soros has been the one who has donated the most money to political campaigns. He's on the Democratic side. So I don't know where Joe Biden was getting at in regards to those claims. And of course, he has a comment on the whole misinformation issue. Watch.
We see the same dangers of the concentration of technology, power, and wealth. You know, his farewell address, President Eisenhower spoke of the dangers of the military-industrial complex. He warned us then about, and I quote, the potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power, end of quote. 6 decades later, I'm equally concerned about the potential rise of a tech-industrial complex that could pose real dangers for our country as well. Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking. The truth is smothered by lies told for power and for profit. We must hold the social platforms accountable to protect our children, our families, and our very democracy from the abuse of power.
Now, this entire speech is really him describing his own party. Even though he's thrown these accusations at Republicans and the incoming Trump administration, his own party is guilty at the very thing that he's talking about, starting with the Hunter Biden laptop story. We know that is pure misinformation, okay? Secondly, the origin of COVID-19, the treating of the COVID-19, that was pure misinformation. And then when you talk about smothering the truth with lies for profit, well, that's exactly what CNN, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, all of them, they've been doing this. So what I see in this speech is just pure gaslighting, and it's fitting because that's exactly what his whole presidency was about. And here he is repeating the same old talking point, the rich need to pay their fair share. Watch.
We must reform the tax code, not by giving the biggest tax cuts to billionaires, but by making them begin to pay their fair share. We need to get dark money. That's that hidden funding behind too many campaigns contributions. We need to get it out of our politics. We need to enact an 18-year term limit, time and term, for the strongest ethics and the strongest ethics reforms for our Supreme Court. We need to ban members of Congress from trading stock while they're in the Congress. We need to amend the Constitution to make clear that no president is immune from crimes that he or she commits while in office. The president's power is not limited. It's not absolute, and it shouldn't be.
Now, the issue with this Democratic talking point is that who decides what fair share equals? Like, what's the metric? What's the number, right? What's the tax rate? Okay, because at some point you have to establish that. And the Democrats have failed every step of the way to do that. Why? Because they benefit from the tax code. Okay, Trump exposed that clearly when he first ran against Hillary Clinton. Now, of course, there are Democrats who love this speech because they are that delusional, and they are still grasping on to the whole misinformation talking point because that's all they have left at this point. And let me just show you an example of how delusional they really are. Watch this.
Ashley, did anything in the speech surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the part that really stood out to me is the president's focus on mis and disinformation. You know, when Trump came into office, I mean, I think we don't give Donald Trump enough credit. I will be provocative enough to say I think he's by far one of the best political communicators I've ever seen. From day one, his objective was to undermine truth. If you recall, he did an interview with 60 Minutes and told Leslie Stahl, the reason why I attack the media is so that when you say something about me, no one actually believes you.
Yeah, he told that to her behind the scenes, according to Leslie Stahl.
Sure,
he didn't
absolutely.
say it on TV.
Okay, well then let me use Kellyanne Conway's quote when she said, and this is when I knew we were in an alternate universe, when she said truth is subjective. I knew then that that was the main focus for Donald Trump, was to undermine truth.
And therein lies the main reason the Democrats lost this election, besides obviously the economy and the border, is they have a failure to communicate. They just believe in their heart of hearts that Donald Trump is 110% wrong and false, and he's a liar about everything. And when it comes to them, they tell the truth 99.9% of the time. They can't even state that Joe Biden clearly lied majority of the time through his farewell speech. No, they have to twist it and put it on Trump. And what do we call that? Trump derangement syndrome, which is why Scott Jennings, in response to that delusional take from her, had to ask her this particular question that really triggered the panel. Check this out.
Has Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or Karine Jean-Pierre ever lied?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
I mean,
know where you're going with this, but that's not the point.
you're-
Donald Trump stands up at the podium every day and delivers
Your
lies.
speech is about the truth, and one thing about Biden that has always vexed Republicans
Scott Jennings.
is that he spends a lot of time talking about him being the center of truth and the restoration of the soul of the nation, and yet he and his people spend a heck of a lot of time undermining that very talking point, up to and including this year with a massive cover-up of his own
Scott,
condition.
how about
And so
Trump lied to the American people during COVID? Right?
about what?
How about that? I mean, drink bleach, right? I could go
Didn't
on and on.
happen. Debunked.
That it's not as bad as the flu. I mean, all of those
Debunked.
things. And the reality is 500,000 people lost their lives because the president wasn't honest with the country
I don't
about the
understand. Are you
dangers
saying
of
that-
COVID.
are you saying the virus was
my
listening
point
to
is
Donald
that
Trump?
lies have consequences. And that is.
I just want to make sure I understand that your position is that Donald Trump's words induced the virus to kill people.
No, what Donald Trump's words did was prevented people from protecting themselves and their neighbors, and 500,000 plus people lost their lives. That was my point. And more importantly, because of his lies, he didn't create an infrastructure from the governors all the way
He gave
down
you
to
the
get
vaccine.
shots in
He
arms,
gave you the
to get
vaccine.
the economy open again.
Jay,
so lies have consequences, and that's what Biden was talking about today. We have to be aware of that.
This is crazy.
And honest
I'm
about
sorry,
it.
this is insane.
Yeah, that's what happens when you give people the truth. They panic. And I don't think she is willing to admit that on her side of things, they are as guilty as well. And it's under Joe Biden that the vaccine mandates happen. It's under Joe Biden that veterans were kicked out of the military. It's under Joe Biden that children lost out on key development.
Appreciate
It's on Joe Biden that Americans were censored. It's on Joe Biden that illegal immigrants and criminals and gang
You
members
feel
from
me, though?
Venezuela crossed the border illegally. That happened under Joe Biden. So to blame Trump is immature at best. But this is what happens. They just can't handle it. Clay Travis put this up on X, and I want to read it to you. A CNN poll says 61% of Americans consider Joe Biden's presidency a failure. Pretend you are Biden's biggest defender. What has he actually accomplished in 4 years that has made America better than when he took office? I legit can't think of anything. Meghan McCain writes this: the Biden years are a great American tragedy that has done generational damage to the Democrat brand and party. His memory will be remembered for this and nothing more. Matt Walsh wrote this: Joe Biden, who just awarded the Medal of Freedom to George Soros and gave his own son a free pass for any and all federal crimes he committed over the course of a decade, now wants you to know that oligarchies are bad. And Matt Gaetz wrote this: Joe Biden just gave a speech criticizing the extreme power held by a small group of people, and he called to end congressional stock trading. Take that, Speaker Pelosi. In the end, I am of the opinion that Joe Biden will go down in history as one of the worst presidents in the history of the United States of America. And I don't think it's close. Now, I'm not a historian. I don't rank presidents. I don't know about every single one of them. But in my lifetime, he's definitely the worst. Now, here's my question for you guys that I'd love you to answer in the comment section below. And this one might make you think. Do you believe this effort to do something about misinformation is really disguised as a strategy to suppress free speech? Because people have their insecurities that they cannot control the narrative. And this is on both sides, politicians, the media. Maybe that's why they're so obsessed with misinformation. Let me know if you agree with that in the comment section below. Now, there was breaking news earlier today where Trump made a major announcement about the successful ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel. Now, remember, this comes after that initial threat that he made that all hell would break loose if the hostages were not released. However, there are important details that you are going to want to hear about. So if you want to check out that video, all you have to do is click on it because it's coming up right now.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And yeah, we're going to talk about what could be TikTok's last stand. TikTok is already preparing for shutdown on Sunday, and this is despite there being interest from a bunch of different people. I've heard Elon Musk, I've heard the Shark Tank guy, even Mr. Beast supposedly, but it doesn't matter because if ByteDance doesn't want to sell it, guess what? It goes dark. But yeah, they're not even going to let you use the app at all. And if you try to do an end run around it, the region lock, you could be looking at legal repercussions. So
yeah, so weird.
This is going to be a wake-up call for Zoomers, I think, who aren't used to this sort of thing happening.
Well, you know what's weird? You know, maybe you'd think they'd want to sell it, or they'd want to work with them to keep them off of the red note. You know what? But who knows?
You would think. But let's talk about what's going to happen come Sunday should there there be no Hail Mary pass. I think a lot of people thought that by now there would have been a buyer, or that Trump's petitioning the Supreme Court to put it on pause. That would get. It's not.
Well, they said the Supreme Court could intervene, but so far they're not.
They don't want it. I don't think they want it. I think they're like, yeah, whatever. Whatever. Oh, Trump wants it? Yeah, we don't, we don't care. So anyway, let's talk about this. Before you get any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother telling you to go to TikTok to subscribe.
It's such a weird, I'm just thinking about a world without TikTok is such a weird thing because it's been there so long and it's been so important. I mean, overall in the grand scheme of humanity, no. But in social media and at least in play for like the last so many years when social media, it's been a big deal. And even going over to YouTube, it's like compilations and stuff like that. Facebook's now doing short videos to try to compete, and it ended up changing the landscape of video and social media. It's basically Vine, but with a little different branding. But it's interesting because you start thinking there's no TikTok. I'm like, that's kind of weird when you say it out loud.
Yeah. Because I remember when Vine imploded too, a lot of Vine actually got more mileage, I think, on YouTube as compilations than it did as its own thing. But
that's how I knew about it because the kids were always watching them.
I mean, just last year we went to Denny's and they had like a TikToker menu with all the TikTok stuff. Like it was a huge cultural thing here for Gen Z. And I know people have very strong feelings about TikTok. I got feelings about TikTok, but it is weird to see it just get snapped. I didn't expect that. I did not expect it to just get snapped. And maybe between now and Sunday somebody can save it. But even if they buy it, my understanding of it is if they buy it, they're not buying the algorithm, they're just getting the content. So they basically have to start over anyway.
Yeah.
At that point, why bother, right? I don't know. So this has come from the information yesterday. TikTok prepares for the immediate shutoff in the U.S. on Sunday. They're already ready. They said, they plan to shut it off for U.S. users on Sunday, the day a federal law will ban the app unless the Supreme Court intervenes to block the ban, according to two people familiar with TikTok's plans.
But TikTok will still be able to go in other countries, just not here.
Not here. Abruptly switching off the app rather than allowing people who have already downloaded it to continue using it will bring home the impact of the ban to all TikTok users. I know people were thinking, well, we just can't upload new stuff, but we can still surf TikTok and we can still watch videos. I'm like, no, you're done. They're just
you're gonna have to watch the compilations that are on YouTube. Well, if you want those, you better make a bunch.
Yeah, right. They said, under the plan, people attempting to open the TikTok app will instead see a pop-up message directing them to a website with information about the ban. One of the people said TikTok plans to give users the option to download all their data so they can take a record of their personal information with them. The person said.
What if people in other countries, they can still use TikTok? What if they just start making compilations of TikTok videos and putting them on YouTube?
That's probably what's going to happen.
I mean, so you'll still probably, if they do that, you'll still be able to watch, some TikTok videos.
Yeah, so I mean, we're just a few days out, and look, if business is going to happen, it's going to happen on a weekday. It's not going to happen on a weekend. So we got today's Wednesday. We got the rest of today, Thursday, and Friday, and that's it. And everything.
Well, they can do an emergency injunction like Saturday night, but they're probably not gonna.
Yeah. So, but they're like, they're going to basically. So all these Gen Z kids, Gen Alpha kids that don't know really what's going on with TikTok, they're going to go log into their app, and there will be such wailing and weeping and gnashing of teeth because they're going to be like, "Where's my TikTok?" They're not even going to be able to. Yeah, it's not even going to be like, "Hey, you can still watch the videos. You just can't upload anything new." It's going to be like, "No, it's just gone."
That's the day that all these people will look up. No, they're probably going to get a red note. So, that's all they're going to do.
Then there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth over there because they're not going to be able to put anything progressive on Reddit.
Yeah, pretty much. But they're like, we're just going to do it to screw everybody else over. And it's like, okay, that's great. But you can't. There's a lot of things that you have on TikTok you can't take over there, which, probably is for, the better. But
well, they think they're going to shut Red Note down here in the U.S. too, because that one actually is like, there's no question it's owned by the CCP, right? It's like, so if they're banning TikTok here just because of a arm's length connection, whatever, that like this one literally means Red Book. It's
yeah, it means Red Book, yes.
Yes.
Little
so
Red Book.
Very, very communisty, right? It's very communisty. So they're saying, if you try doing an run around this ban too, it's not going to go very well for you. This has come from Desero.
This is insane to me.
Yeah,
over TikTok.
Over TikTok. Lawyer reveals risks of using TikTok with a VPN if U.S. imposes the ban. As of the time of writing, it looks like it's just not going to go anywhere. But if you use a VPN, this is what they said. So we spoke with Neil Ellen of Stubbs, Alderton, and Markles, LLP. I wish more lawyers had normal last names. I wish it was like Smith, and Jones.
Spam, LLP.
Yeah, Smith, Spam and Jones, Spam, Smith and Jones. A business litigator who focuses on high-value intellectual property disputes to get his insight on it. According to this guy, using a VPN to access TikTok is against the law, and violators can't expect to be punished. If there is a law saying you can't do this, and you do this by using a VPN to circumvent the law, you're in violation of the law.
Yeah, but again, I want to say about what if somebody on another country that has access to TikTok makes a bunch of video compilations and puts it on YouTube, would you be in trouble because you didn't access anything other than YouTube, which you're legally allowed to access?
Well, that's the thing. Where are these people going to go? Because they're pissed off. They're pissed off at everybody, right? They're pissed off at Facebook now because Zuckerberg is sucking up to Trump. Twitter is gone. Tumblr is effectively gone. Nobody uses it. Snapchat. What the hell happened to Snapchat? Remember Snapchat was like the TikTok for a while?
Well, they still use it, yeah, but not
like nobody's using Snapchat now. And Snapchat was big for about 3-4 years, and then like nobody's using it. Well, apparently Tencent owns like 45% of Snapchat. So that's a whole thing too. So it's like, where do you go? You're going to go directly to China, and that's going to get banned too. Whether or not it ends up getting forced, that you get fined, those up in the air. They explained the U.S.'s concern around TikTok largely centers on national security, something that will determine the degree of legal action against those who access the site.
Again, that's what I'm saying. If you put it on YouTube and you should be able to watch it there or Facebook, you should be able to watch it there because you're not using anything illegal that has, that they're claiming is security issue.
Yeah, what's interesting though is this kind of reminds me of the Napster thing where it was like they would make examples out of people.
Poor old Napster.
Yeah, remember the grandma that got
Yes.
sued or whatever for that? Because like most people, they could use Napster or LimeWire or any of those without issue, but like this random old lady got sued for downloading like her grandson or something.
Yeah, it wasn't her,
downloading a
it was
bunch
her
of
grandkid.
songs. So they tried to, yeah. So I'm like, then the public perception's not gonna be good either. So it's like part of the reason that Trump got elected was because people are tired of government overreach. And if you're like, yeah, some 14-year-old tried to get on the TikTok, and then you find their parents for letting them on TikTok using the VPN. Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, but that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, there are other alternatives you can use, but a lot of them don't want to use those now because they're mad at Zuckerberg or whatever. But, you know, YouTube's an alternative for shorts. Facebook's an alternative. Instagram's an alternative.
They're downplaying shorts
I know.
on YouTube. Which
I was explaining that to our daughter today.
I'm actually glad about that because as a YouTuber, shorts were effing up the algorithm big time. But yeah, as of October and November, they've basically decided shorts don't pay enough, and they still promote them somewhat, but not like they used to. It used to be like you'd watch a long form video and all you'd get were recommendations for shorts.
Yeah, well, also they were promoting it so much that they were expected to do it. If you didn't do it, well, it'd be a real shame if you aren't found. So they destroy a bunch of stuff, and then they're like, but it didn't work well.
We have heard that. We heard that, yeah, like if you're not using shorts, the algorithm doesn't like you. And then they just like flip that switch too. They're like, you know what? We don't like shorts either. They don't pay out very much.
Well, the closest thing I could think of to it would be like the Facebook, you know, the Facebook stuff or, you know, Instagram. And you still have those access to that stuff, but people are mad at Zuckerberg now. So it depends how bad do you want to get this content. You know, that's I guess the question to ask yourself. I still think someone's going to make compilations and you know, overseas YouTube accounts and put it up.
How many e-celebrities are just going to disappear overnight? I mean, again, we were talking about Denny's. Like these TikTokers had their own damn meals at Denny's, and I'm like, I don't even know who you are, but they're like, so and so Joe has 16 million followers on TikTok. I'm like, who the hell are you? I don't know who you are. Now nobody's going to know who you are because TikTok's gone. That's got to be a. I know some people are like,
it's awful.
It's awful. Some people are gonna be like, serves them right. They should get a real job. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But
It's a lot of work.
I'm just saying, like, what, a real job?
No, they're doing videos. We actually spend more time working on this stuff than we ever would have at a real job, quote unquote.
Yeah, because we have our own businesses. Like, it's so much easier for me to just go to work, punch a clock from 8 to 5, and come home and have a life. 5
What's
days
a life? What's a weekend?
life?
What's a vacation?
But like, yeah, there are people whose livelihoods are just gone. I mean, it's crazy. We kind of ran into something somewhat similar to that with Google when they changed the algorithm. We had websites, and then they went from like getting hundreds of thousands or millions of views a month to like 10,000 views.
Yeah.
It was like, what the hell? So yeah, I mean, anytime you depend on, this should be a cautionary tale for people, ourselves included. Anytime you depend on one platform for your income, this can happen. This can happen to you. It can happen to YouTubers. It can happen to podcasters. It can happen to anybody who does anything online digitally. If you're a bigwig on X right now, and X gets shut down for some reason, guess what?
Yeah, I just don't think people realize like how much work is involved in each of these. And you see those things where kids want to be TikTokers or influencers or whatever. And it's like you have no clue how much work.
Well, now their parents can be like, look at this guy. He had a deal at Denny's one day, and he was on the streets the next.
He's working at Denny's the next.
Oh my God, that's it. He had a deal at Denny's, and then he's working at Denny's the next day.
Not that anything wrong with working at Denny's, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. We're just like rambling at this point. Sorry, guys. Okay. Don't use a VPN to go to TikTok. Keep checking YouTube though. I think what I'm saying is gonna come to pass.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see what these guys are.
Birthday. I was gonna open this until it was just me and her, but you know what? I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek. All right?
Oh my God, he has no clue what's in this box.
Oh my God, look how ready he is.
So these are actually like a fuzzy bear kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's like a stuffed animal thing. I thought it was pretty cute.
Wait, those are pink handcuffs.
I'm not done.
Are you guys being it for real?
I'm not done. So
wait a second.
Next up, we have a nice little.
And you're only giving us $15.
It's a rope.
Definitely
So it's like a pom pom, like it's like a
cheerleader.
Like it's like a cheerleader.
No.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Then there's one more thing.
So at this point, this is not even about the business anymore. At this point, you just
Yes, it is. It's showing you.
content.
There's one more thing, Nathan. There's one more thing.
I don't care.
This is showcasing. Say everyone, there's one more.
Showcasing
Everybody, hey, there's one more gift here, and that is.
And then you're laughing. Like,
Please don't interrupt.
You gotta grow up. I just knew you was gonna do some crazy thing like this, though.
Okay, listen. If you guys don't like the gifts, I'm sure you will. So
Those are not
move
good
on.
gifts.
Nathan, I agreed with the bear claws and the pom poms. I do not agree with the third one. That is disgusting.
It's a rhinoceros. Come on, guys, get your mind out of the gutter.
Any questions?
Is this real or is this a spoof?
Of course, this is real.
It's completely real. Convenience store. Our onboard convenience store is open 24/7, has anything you need on the cruise. But don't try and steal. Our cashier is always recorded. So, this is Lanisha.
I don't think that's accurate.
Yo, Nathan, say, oh, it's Mindy.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it's not accurate. You're right. No, her name's Mindy.
I don't think it's Mindy.
Shit.
All right. Entertainment. Nathan, you did this section.
So, the hologram museum. We're actually very, very proud of this. Many parents don't want to be held back by their kids on vacation, right?
Mr. Justin knows, bro.
To solve this, we have invented the first ever hologram museum.
Dude, Lawrence is so over it. Look at him. Joe's like cringed out.
Hologram example number 1. So, you know, man's first step on the moon. This is a nice, it's almost like
They all know.
reality.
They all know it's coming.
It feels like you're there. Seriously, it's magic. So, hologram example number 2. The first ever automobile. Me, I'm personally a huge car guy. I love just coming in here and, you know, pretending I'm in the 20s, you know?
Exactly. Nathan loves the 20s.
Yeah, I do love the 20s.
Yes, he does.
Where is it?
Nathan,
do.
I feel like you're more of an 1800s kind of guy.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, no. It was the 40s. You loved the 1940s. That was your favorite.
Bro.
Right?
Dude, he almost made him laugh.
Moving on. Hologram example number 3.
Wait, is it?
First ever meeting. You know, we think that it is very, very important to, you know, when it comes to history, even if it's bad, you got to be able to see it, right?
Exactly.
First ever meeting.
First ever meeting. Great experience.
What? Great
Bro.
experience? Why
Great
would you add on to
experience.
this one?
Let's move on. So as you can see, with this,
Nathan's face, dude.
so as you can see, the holograms do become very realistic. Our crewmates even taught him how to put on the robe too, so he could feel like he was actually there for the first meeting.
What type of meeting?
Right? Maybe what type of meeting was it, Nathan?
Oh yeah, this meeting. So this meeting is for to see if you guys want to invest in our company.
No,
or not. If you guys want to invest in our company, if you were an investor.
No, I mean
I'm sorry?
relating to this.
The meeting on screen.
Oh. I don't know. What is this?
Dining. Obviously, every good cruise needs a good dining. So, fine cruise dining, one of the most important parts of a cruise ship. Our onboard restaurant truly encompasses all cultures with chefs from every culture. Our current Middle Eastern chefs are world class. They flew in from all across the globe, and their cooking is the bomb. No pun intended.
Yo, Damien's dying on that one.
This is Rahim, and he is one of our best chefs. Restaurant menu. Our cruise restaurant is known around the world, but that means there are some language barriers with the menu. We have since updated our menus for each target customer. Updated menus. So we'll have a little before and after section for you guys.
Curry or
Curry. PU stew. So,
Dude, Steve just shivered.
Dude, Joe is cringing.
sushi? No,
Sushi?
more like.
Xiaonyao Xichu.
No.
See, I can't.
Oh my
read it.
god, no way they just made that. By the way, they have no clue what that says or how to pronounce that.
Can
There it is.
everybody say that with me? Xiaonyao.
Xiao Ziju.
Good accent, Joe. Good accent. So if you're ever going to Japan and you want to get some sushi, what do you say?
Sushi.
I want that for all racist, Joe. You want to tone it down.
I actually do speak Japanese, so it didn't say
my
sushi.
God.
And in Japan, it's sushi. And I guess
What did it say?
Mute her. It says subscribe. It says subscribe. Mute her.
Well, Nathan, I thought that said sushi.
Bro, your material didn't check out.
Yeah, maybe I goofed that up. So life jacket distribution. Now, in case of a serious emergency, life jacket priority will be conducted in the following order. African Americans.
Very considerate.
Indian people, number 2.
Yep.
3, Asian people.
Yep.
Right. 4, Mexicans.
And 5 white people.
That's
Yep.
awesome. I thought you guys
Exactly.
were racist at the start, but the fact that you guys made white people go last is really cool.
Exactly.
Thanks, Joe.
This order has sparked criticism, but we do it for one simple reason. We can count on white people to swim. Nathan, you...
Oh
Hey,
my
don't back
god.
out now. You wanted to take this one.
Steve, is that enough?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please raise your hand if you would invest into our cruise line.
Zoom user.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Justin.
5, 6, 7.
So they have a
Shit.
lot.
Yo, they actually did really good. What the?
Are we getting paid more for more time?
Nope. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming out. I love you all.
You guys got 7 hands.
How many
minus one because I laughed.
Okay, so I remember one laugh. Nathan, that's minus. So I would say that's minus 2.
Okay, five. You guys have 5 hands. That's a good amount. I think you guys can actually win this.
bro.
Nathan and I got 7 hands raised, but since we each laughed, it brought our score down to 5. Which means if McCain and Joe get more than 5 hands, Nathan and I are doing that rapper punishment. McCain and Joe are up next, and remember, they have no idea what their presentation is about.
Joe and I are actually the hosts for today. We're going to be showing you guys our new business that we created. World's first ever Giga Gym. Gym So Big. That's our company. This is, and we're going to meet the owners now. We are Joe and McCain. Joe, you want to say hi?
Hello, everybody. We are excited to have you guys today. It's nice to meet you all.
And we've been fitness experts for over 8 years now. And our goal is to build America's biggest gym. Number 1, our services. Joe, I'm going to let you go on this one.
Our first service, the daycare center. As you can see, this is a concept of our daycare. Got lots of activities, things to do. This is actually an exact scale model. This is everything we're going to feature in our daycare. So
Okay, yeah, but why are there throwing knives on the dartboard?
So, like right now, if you give a child, like a 7-year-old, like a knife and all that, usually it works out to where they won't even hurt themselves.
Suzanne's thinking about this whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, Lewis is jumping in here. He's laughing.
Any feedback?
Yeah, you need to remove the dartboard.
Really?
Yeah, that's a huge liability. I would never invest in that.
Joseph.
Let's go, Joseph. Let's go.
That's something I think would be a big, like, womp womp.
Okay.
Womp womp.
So I could dive more into some of these more red arrows. If we focus more to the middle, we have some poker chips. This is for arithmetics and learning how to count.
Arithmetics.
Are you guys for real?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Suzanne's butting in.
Suzanne finally burst
So
in.
what I was saying is the reason we use poker chips instead of other like building blocks they'll normally give your kid in preschool is because poker chips have real world application, and once they learn it for the rest of their life. They don't need some.
I would not send my kid to this daycare. Poker chips and throwing knives.
The knives are
weights
dull, by
and
the
a
way.
sewing
It's
machine.
the set from Costco.
Kids don't need weights. Their bones aren't strong enough.
Cap.
Dude, Suzanne has not made a difference.
No, she looks so disgusted.
Training services. We offer trainers for all customers.
We also have specialized trainers that will actually yell at you until you hit your goals. So this is one of them. They can even dress up to motivate you based on your needs.
His eye is not having any of it.
Why is Charles smiling?
Look at Ron Winterberg's got to get a closer look.
Any questions?
Randy's pissed.
Oh, Victoria has a question.
Victoria has her hand
Victoria?
raised.
Yes, you're muted, Victoria, if you want to unmute.
Okay, so I wanted to ask for the child that the 4 years and above. So what are they going to be doing? Is there any exercise there for them to stay there and be cared for?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear a single word you said.
Victoria, your mic's cutting out a little bit there, but
So I was saying that for children older than 4 years, that
Look at McCain, bro.
it's just sleeping or just sitting down and playing around.
okay.
All right, let's keep moving. Number 2, employees.
What?
We only hire the best. Gym So Big is going to be worldwide. Therefore, our staff is required to know at least 5 languages to communicate with any customers.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how this is gonna go.
Oh my goodness.
Here's what to expect if you were a foreign customer.
I can handle this. You want me
got
to handle
this
this? Yeah. Okay, so customer number 1. So, hello, welcome to our gym. Translates to, Bonjour, bienvenue dans notre salle de sport.
Damn.
So that's what you could expect as a French customer.
Let's see if he gets the next one really well too.
Customer number 2. This customer is Japanese. Guys, I do have to mention, we have a 3rd co-founder. His name's Peter. He's out sick. He is Japanese, so normally he would handle
We'll pop a thumbs
this.
up for him.
Shut up, Peter.
So don't go too hard on me here, but I can give it a shot. Hello, welcome to our gym.
Oh god.
Would translate to Bing Bong.
Look at Ron. Ron's really enjoying it.
Peter wrote. I've never checked the translation myself, but
That's crazy.
Oh, that's accurate.
That's not, yeah, I don't.
well, he may have tossed it in Google because you know when you Google translate back and forth, it starts to mess up the translation.
I speak Japanese. I know it's a joke. Yeah, my wife's Japanese. It's,
Oh
it's
my
not
gosh.
funny.
Yeah, no.
Pretty offensive.
Yeah, definitely. That's very offensive.
He's on his
All
game.
right, customer number 3.
Yep, this is South African. All right, hello, welcome to our gym. Would translate to no food, no water.
Oh my god.
Oh no, look at McCain.
Why is he dying already? Dude, just off. What even made him break?
So McCain, if you want to keep us moving, yep.
All right, for sure. We only hire the best, and with that, we have a strict but stylish employees dress code. Men's attire. So this is our men's attire. We got the Gym So Big logo.
Oh, this is not gonna go well.
And then women's attire. Like that. Any questions so far?
Yeah, the women's attire looks like
Yeah, what's up?
unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Hey, I got a question.
Yeah, Randy.
Yeah, you know, why women's attire gonna look like that unless the gym is on a beach?
It's motivational. Motivational for the other guests.
Motivational. We're motivated to work our bodies out, not to look at a body unless you watch it on TV.
Yeah, Joe's got this.
Randy, let me ask you a counter question. So, if your gym was filled with women that looked like this, would you ever skip a day?
I mean, if it would be Beyonce or Mary J. Blige, yeah, I won't skip no day. But don't you think this is a little bit too much exploitation for her?
No.
It increases the sales for our investors.
If Oprah Winfrey looked like that, would you come to the gym every day?
Hell yeah, she had beautiful.
I'd watch her show every day if that's how she was dressed.
Any feedback from the ladies on this one?
Suzanne, what do you think about this?
I won't be going to your gym.
Why? Well, can you at least give us feedback so we can figure it out?
No, thank you. Wouldn't invest. I wouldn't come to your gym. Also,
okay.
are you planning on like new construction, or are you going to like take something that's already been there, like amazing?
Probably been there.
She's eating it up.
Probably have been there.
I don't think so.
Yo, Suzanne hates this.
All right, listen, we got to move on. Advertising. Now, you may be wondering, how on earth do we attract customers from around the world, right? We are the only gym in the world that dubs their commercials in every language. So, audio on. You guys ready?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hello and welcome to Gym So Big, the largest gym in North America with the widest range of equipment and amenities. مرحبا بكم في Gym So Big, أكبر صالة ألعاب رياضية في أمريكا الشمالية. Καλώς ήρθατε στο Gym So Big, το μεγαλύτερο γυμναστήριο στην Βόρεια Αμερική με την...
Oh, welcome to Gym So Big. Hey, Fatso, you work out here. You eat too much. Become doctor and get strong.
Amazing, McCain. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Was that supposed to be Mandarin or Cantonese? Because I didn't recognize that dialect of Chinese at all.
That one,
that would more be Peter's expertise.
Yeah, Peter did that.
But I do believe he said Mandarin. Number 3, food and nutrition. Working out is only half of the battle when getting into shape. Diet is the other. This is a big misconception. People think it's all working out. Diet is 90% of your weight. That's why at Gym So Big, we offer a meal prep plan to help you hit your nutrition goals. Don't worry, we know meals can get boring. That's why we have plenty of options.
Yeah, we do.
Meal prep options. Number 1, Indian, rice plus curry. This is traditional. This type of meal is extremely anabolic and good for muscle growth. Italian, we have pasta. And then African, we do have food stamps. This is because it allows them to be able to shop at any. Africa is a very large and diverse country. So by just providing a general meal voucher, they can go get whatever culture they want or type of food they want.
Number 4, amenities. Meditation is a crucial part to a healthy mind and a healthy body. Can I get a raise of hands? Does anybody do meditation here?
I do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think it's a necessity nowadays with our phones, you know what I mean? And when done properly, it allows you to tap into your ancestral roots, which is why we created the Zen Zone, the world's first ever multicultural meditation room.
Joe's already smiling. You know something heinous.
In this room, we will play different audios based on your background to help you tap into your true chakra. Okay, here we go, everybody. Get in the zone. Here we go.
Here we go. Oh my gosh.
Caucasian meditation room.
Watch Joe's face.
Some nice birds.
Asian meditation room.
I like this one.
Look at Joe! Look at Joe! Look at Joe!
Is that a bird?
Look at Joe!
I think it's a bird in the back. All right.
It's like a jungle type thing, right?
Okay, further questions, anybody?
McCain, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I haven't been too tapped into the Zen Zone. That was like a bird in the jungle, right? Like that was the idea behind that one?
Yes, sir.
Sounded like an alarm thing.
What?
Alarm?
There it is.
Like a phone alarm?
What do you mean?
Yeah, it was like a, I don't know, like a chirp
Like
from
a fire alarm?
Look at McCain. McCain ducked off. That's a break. McCain broke. Randy Jones has a question.
What made y'all decide to start a gym like this?
What is this, bro? It's going right over their heads.
I actually was really fat earlier in my life. I weighed 240 pounds and I dropped down to 160 just off eating right and having good fitness. Joe here, he also wants to become not just some little skinny twink that he was, but some jacked, ripped, buffed out beast man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually just wanted to pull up for reference for you, Randy. This is actually McCain just 5 years ago.
I used to have glasses.
So he actually, yeah, he's a little bit of a bowling ball here. You know, you could have probably gotten a strike or a spare with him, but obviously things have changed. So yeah, that was our main motivation. Other amenities. Don't worry. If you don't have the Elite package, we have lots of free amenities to use.
Look at the case, man.
Here's our other options. The cold plunge room. As we said, we had a cold plunge coming up. Here it is. The sauna.
Hiroshima. Look at him. He can't continue. Wait, what did that say?
What is wrong with it? Why are we stopping, Joe? Why'd you stop?
What is that?
Sorry. I'm having a visual migraine. It's when I'm dehydrated. Especially when I come off of sickness, my vision gets all blurry. Sorry, everybody.
You'll be okay.
The pools, non-swimmer friendly pools. So everybody that was talking about, you know, where can the little ones go? Where can the kids go? We do have a non-swimmer friendly pool before they learn. All right, any questions?
Okay. So my first, how much
Just about to die.
Your mic keeps cutting out.
Oh, she asked how much time is left.
We're actually almost done. All right, here we go. Bodybuilding. We understand tans are crucial for bodybuilding. At Gym So Big, we offer the most effective tanning beds in America. Our tanning beds give you a full body tan in just 10 minutes. Demonstration. This is Daniel, a Gym So Big member who wanted our high-level tan before vacation. It only took 10 minutes to get the results he was looking for. Look at this. This is right after. Look at Daniel. Look at the before and after. We also gave him some grills and tats and a bling.
Look at Mercy.
That's Daniel. You wouldn't believe it, but he got LASIK also.
And he got a nice tan.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. That's a beautiful tan. Look at McCain! That got him! That got him!
And he does go by Dontavius now.
Yo, ask McCain what he's doing. Ask McCain what he's doing.
McCain, what are you doing? McCain?
Charles is in disbelief. Look at him.
Oh, and that's it. Thank you guys so much. Raise your hand if you guys would like to invest in Gym So Big. Giga Gym.
We got 1, 2,
3, 4.
Thank you, Victoria.
4,
5, 6, 7.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. It was very fun
guys.
having you all. It was nice meeting you guys.
Very entertaining.
Okay, I laughed like 4 times, dude. Or like
Really?
3 or 4
It
times.
was
3. It was
How
3.
did you laugh at the tanning bed, bro? The Devontis one? I was like, that one was a freebie. That one was a freebie, easy. And then I look up and you're like this.
McCain and Joe got 7 hands, but since McCain broke 3 times, it brought their score down to 4, making them the losers.
Okay, well, you guys won. Congrats. You ready to freestyle some and sell our CDs?
I'm not mad. I will take this loss graciously.
how
this
did
is
you guys not
Nathan's
laugh
first
at
time
us?
ever winning a Zoom out of like 8
Let's
Zoom
go!
videos. You
My
guys
first
fucked
ever
us.
win.
That was good.
All right, if you want to see McCain and Joe act like some real ones and sell 5 CDs at Newport Beach, make sure you guys click on the screen right now.
I appreciate y'all for saying too little to quit, man. Whatever it is you're doing, doesn't matter what you're doing, bro. Stay that thing like too little to quit. Oh my goodness.